mining this data very efficiently?
E-commerce is different than travel. So I mean, let's divide numbers, and it's still a billion, still give or take like 2,000-3,000 crore industry, right? So it is just 2 years. It's a long game. B2C businesses take a long time. And to answer your question, companies who are focusing on building their cohorts right, which is their repeat customers, through more brand building initiatives, with a balanced approach of doing vouchers and doing transactional tactical activities, are the companies which will win. And for cohorts to be right, there are lot many things about your supply chain needs to be right, your categories need to be right, your pricing needs to be right, for a customer to have a repeat purchase intention to come and buy. So there are companies who are only focusing on voucher-driven tactical strategies. There are companies who are only focusing on brand-driven strategies. I think there's a good balance of doing that. Get your cohorts right. At least make the customer profitable within 1.5 years of his first buying. When you have acquired him first. If you've done a couple of these things right, I think over still a long period of time, which is closer to 5-10 years, you'll be able to build a sustainable large business. And therefore, you have to think, are you a big bazaar or are you a kirana shop next in a local market? Both are businesses. So everyone cannot become a big bazaar. So one has to decide whether you want to spend enough money, raise a lot of capital and become a big bazaar, or you want to stay, you want to earn your good bread butter every day, or you want to worry about the wine on a daily basis. So I mean, that's where my view is. And there are people who are doing it absolutely right. At least the top 4 companies are absolutely doing that.
What you are actually providing today, you are providing an extension arm of a retail store. So what I am doing at a brick and mortar store, the same thing is available online. There may be a difference of hardly a price because you have to maintain the same sanctity of the price to look for, but nothing great about it. So why would you actually, a person, as a matter of stickiness to the particular brand, there is no brand imagery that has been created. The reason being is because today I may drop out to one particular site because tomorrow the discount is 4% higher to other particular site. How does it make a difference to me? So there is no connect between a consumer and a brand image which is trying to create. Because what you are providing in any of the Chromas or Reliance or any of the particular word is also available on your particular site. Either you are creating a own particular brand of its own so that people can stick and actually have a relation to those particular brands. I don't think that actual e-commerce is happening today. Whatever is happening is primarily into travel, and most of it is happening on the ticketing front to look, which is only a partial or a first step to look on the overall side to why the brands are. If you take the example Shoppers Stop on every transaction of Allen Solly or XYZ brands make from 40 rupees to 65 rupees one particular piece of shirt, or 90 rupees in one particular trouser. You will never make margin for all your stickiness, consumer drive, marketing, profitability will depends upon when you have profit. When they launch their own particular brand called Shop, when they have 450% to 600% margin, then automatically all the marketing and all efforts come into play. If you don't have a brand imagery, irrespective of whatever categories, whatever player you may be, whatever sector you may be, you will never have that audience attraction towards your particular base, and actual sense of e-commerce will never come. We may debate about 4,000 numbers, even 1,07,000 is the number targeted till 2050. I think all these numbers are good, but you see the concentration, if you dissect the entire particular thing, still the 90% of contribution and close to that is primarily from travel. I think that's not the real sense of e-commerce. In today's point, what happens is, if somebody, and most of the people today, how it is happening is there's a famous term which happens, which is survey online and purchase offline, or purchase offline or survey online. So what people will go and find for a Chroma shop, what is the best deal that you are getting? He'll say the LCD or home theater system is for 20,000 rupees. Immediately he'll come and log into XYZ sites, what's the best particular site giving you a particular deal, and he'll buy an order from that. So end of the day, it's not only a product which is actually delivering, it's only a deal which is actually. So as a matter of strategy, it's not only the price that will actually, you have to show the visibility of the brand strength that you have. When I say a visibility of the brand strength, it is about each and every category that you can actually portray and talks about, because it is not only a television or home theater which can be bought. There may be interested people who may bought a shaver, who may buy a grooming kit in the overall scenario to look for. So you should have that particular. What happens today, any particular site you talk about, they will pick and choose according to their particular traffic which is coming and emerging into the overall perspective. That's a major difference.
I think the challenge that the industry is seeing is that how do you communicate it right to the consumer and set the expectation right. I think it's less of a B2B problem, it's more of a B2C problem that, for me to go and get a deal with Amit, that okay, these are the 5 categories which I'm buying up front and the rest of them I'll buy on a consignment is not a big deal. As long as I'm pushing volumes, we have a right term, the deal is on. Problem is to me too as my consumer, how do I explain that why one thing comes in one day and the other thing takes 5, right? So I think that's where the industry is right now trying to find solutions that, how do you communicate it right? And the moment you put a character to who you are, then your consumers start relating to, like a daily deal website, a flash sales, a catalog retailer, you do a survey, you ask a consumer, he doesn't even understand the difference, right? That what is the difference between a dealer day site or a...
He doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He thinks...
Why there has not been a substantial amount of growth is that the number of serviceable pin codes are still very few in India. I think these would probably add up to just about 12,000, right? 10 to 12,000. Now that's a very low count compared to the number of pin codes or cities that you can actually reach out.
40,000.
So where convenience fails is that I have the
40,000.
I have the willingness to pay. I have awareness. I have the willingness to pay. People are now advertising on television, mass media advertising. I see that product, right? Whether it is Samsung or whether it is an e-commerce portal advertising, and I have the money, right? I have the willingness to pay. But that product cannot be delivered to my city because that pin code is not serviceable. And if you look at today, Indian Post, which has by far the best reach, offers the best rates on couriers, their tracking is pathetic. You can't go and track your consignment. They don't write APIs. If they do write APIs, they don't update their available numbers in the system. They'll try to make maybe one attempt, half-heartedly, and return the consignment because someone is not available.
I'm not saying that today everybody is able to service 100% of pin codes which have internet access, but broadly of this 40,000, if you look at the areas where people have internet access, could be possibly 15,000. Out of those 15,000, 12,000 are being serviced. So I don't see that as a big challenge. Other points that were discussed around trust, I completely agree.
I don't think the verdict is out that which is going to be the anchor and which are the ones which are going to be the ancillary ones around them, because common sense tells that catalog retail should be the anchor and then all other formats should revolve around that. But when you look at the LTV and the unit metrics, you certainly realize that the average order values at which this market operates and the way the operating costs are and the cost of acquisitions are, you always end up in a situation where you yourself have self-doubt that yes, maybe top line this can be the anchor, but to Manish's point, then who will be the last man standing? Because good or bad, I think not only in India, anywhere in the world, your capital strategy is very, very core to your success and failure. You could be doing everything right, but if you don't have the right capital strategy and or you drop a few balls on getting them right in how you structure your capital strategy, you could be a great company and just get washed out, right? There's one school of thought which says do the LTV analysis, make unit metrics sense from day one. There's another school of thought, use activation tools like coupons, etc. And there's another which says build the brand, take it to a certain scale. Once you go beyond 10,000 transactions a day, the network effect trickles in, and automatically your your ratios of paid transactions versus non-paid transactions. Truth of life is, I think all of them are right. The key thing is realization that capital strategy is a very, very important leg for the success of an e-commerce business, and that's one lever in the journey of an entrepreneur which is outside of his direct control. So I think I would say the more important thing is to always structure yourself in a manner where you are very nimble and you're able to adapt yourself very fast the way the market demands, right?
They started as a company called CSI, the Indian company that Shah started a company with this long-time partner called Steve. Today, Amazon looks up to them, and I explained the journey. They're a very large client of ours. they figured out that the best way to potentially not pay too much Google was to start multiple websites. So they started CSLIT.com, Ladders.com, and they went ahead and launched some 350 websites.
Wow.
Niche websites, right? And each of them had the keyword in the URL. So they had Strollers.com, everything there. And they further integrated. So they built a platform, a multi-store platform where each of the store was running on a common order management system. So there was a significant scale of it. They went from $2 million in the month 3 to close to $250 million.
What's the name of the company?
Fair now. It used to be called CSI Stores. They just rebranded themselves a year back. Fair.
Indian CEO, right?
Yes, Neeraj Shah. He's a serial entrepreneur, so they went ahead and the cost of acquisition was significantly low, and they went completely on dropshipping model.
My point of view is we need to look back at who are we selling to of e-commerce or retailing today out there, which is like 4 to 5% or even less of the total only internet users. I'm not even going to the 1.2 billion population. When I look at a US or a China market, US close to 70% of internet users are using e-commerce. In China, close to 40% are using e-commerce. So clearly the huge headroom is there.